Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today, as the title says, we are talking about one of the special cases, the Kinetic, because Kinetic in its current state without any changes as the time is before the new mechanoid invasion in 2020, the Kinetic is a semi-meta class. Which means he dishes out considerable enough damage to not be bad, if you have the right setup, of course. But he still lags behind some crazy good DPSs, and that is for one reason that I mentioned in my comparison video, but I will go over it here too. I won't just do it now. Do now the rotation. I will just tell you why it's a semi-meta class, and that is you have those skills here that need to be used in Union for the maximum output. This is the gravity anomaly, which will put a field around something, and this something and everyone inside the area takes 40% more damage from you for 8 seconds, which is superb. Next thing is you use Gravity Trap. Mobs that can be CC'd will be put in midair and can move, and mobs that cannot be CC'd will just deal less damage to the Kinetic. But the most important part is that for the very 8 seconds, your attacks will always inflict critical, which then again boosts your damage massively. As you can see, this thing goes kinda along our normal bursting times, like it's 32 seconds instead of 30, but it's just 8-second wait until you can use it in a burst. So it's not bad. But as you can see, the gravity anomaly is on a 16-second means you can use it 2 times. One time in the burst and one time off burst. which you need to do. But the problem here is the Kinetic with his kit is designed around the fact that he can burst every 16 seconds, which in return means his damage overall on his abilities is evened out on this design. And the most damaging ability for the Kinetic is the second instance of the stone projectile, which is a cool thing at itself. It has special stuff to do, whatever. But the important thing is, as you can see, the base damage is 500k, and if I now compare it, for example, with the Berserker, this stuff does less damage, but at the moment he gets up, he gets more and more damage out of it. A Necromancer pad, I don't know if it's shown here, does also just do 200, so it seems high, but these hits are many. Like, the Berserker gets out 9 hits of this and they go progressively stronger. You can say at about the 3rd hit, the Berserker reaches the level of the Kinetic projectile that he can use 2 times in the burst, which means a total of about 1 million, without buffs of course. And then he has 5 more strikes that do even more damage, which in return means he will get outscaled on a burst. Same goes for the Necromancer, for example, which are our 2 top DPS staffs, because this pad will do the damage deals damage per second, and the time we have on the pad is like 12 seconds. So this pad alone goes to like 2 million somewhat damage, just putting out his normal DPS, its normal DPS, and they are all designed around this 40-second cooldown stuff. So I think here's the cooldown. Yeah, here's the cooldown. is all around this 40-second cooldown. You will have everything, might buffs, percentage buffs, whatever. And the Kinetic will have his kit, like I said, designed around doing 2 bursts at this time. But he will only get buffs at one time of these 2 bursts. This is what makes the Kinetic, its current state, weaker than the normal meta classes, because he isn't really in sync with the other classes regarding his burst. Nonetheless, I will tell you what exactly you should use on the Kinetic to do decent stuff with. So first thing is, the only weapon that will make him good is, oh god, how it's pronounced? Animus, the unflinching barrier. It's basically a weapon that decreases the charge time for your strongest skill. I will show you why it's needed. Yes, I have better items, blah blah blah. Look at this. If you charge it, it takes a long time. And then you do it again. And you nearly are out of burst at that moment. As you can see, it takes a long time to charge up this stuff. And with this weapon, this whole charge up time gets reduced by 5 times. Means it's one fifth of what it used to be. So it's not instant, but it's really fast. And with this fast build up, this fast ability to use it, you can use the wall combination 2 times in a burst instead of just 1 time. The other bonus is that he deals more damage with the kinetic pulse and regenerates more energy, which also helpful for playstyle heal. You would, at the first, before anything even starts, you will use with this weapon the right mouse button once, just to have the change it right mouse button. So it's a kind of second stage, the strong stuff. Like you can see the difference here. Like this is this damage for the first time, and when you do the second time, it's this damage, and this damage we want. So to benefit from everything, we are making sure that we have this charged before we start combat. I will show you what we do when we reset. And even when you have it reset, the weapon stays on this if you don't die. So, what we now need to do in the burst is take our distance, because still a ranged class. Then you put up your left click to get 12 charges on. The next thing is with the Valerium passive, if you put a gravity trap on something, get 16 more kinetic charges, which will put him technically at 28 charges, but he can only have 24, and this will be exactly what we consume in our burst. So we start with click, this, spear, this, and spear, this. So as you can see, now our burst window is over, and now we are charging up the energy levels to a reasonable amount. This. And since we started with the off combo, we will have no problem actually maintaining all stuff. And this is now the next time when you have actually buffs, and it goes again. Not a hyper complicated thing, but as you can see, half of the time I wouldn't have buffs, because I would go to the needed 24 stacks to deal maximum damage, do this, to the spears, and then we are good to go. You will probably land about the same thing as you need to do with other buffs, like you only have a few seconds delay, so now it's again buff time. Yay. And this is basically it. This is your rotation as a Kinetic. As you can see, it's 130, and it deals a considerable amount of damage, which can be enhanced with a weapon. With, for example, I didn't use my Miriam's hammer, which would increase my damage if I stand in it, and whatever. So, all things wrong screen. All things considered, his DPS isn't bad. But if we see, if you have ever seen my comparison video, for example, the really good DPS classes go for a DPS of around 20 million plus for their damage per second, but the Kinetic doesn't have it. The Kinetic's overall damage is focused on 2 bursts in about 20 seconds delay between. And since we only buff at every 40 seconds to not waste anything, he has a bit of a disadvantage over other classes. If the current meta really changes as predicted in the next time, with the appearance of a new support artifact that changes the way buffs could work out, his damage could increase tremendously, because he would have at least part buffs on his second burst, which puts him in an advantage because other classes like the Necromancer or the Berserker don't have any meaningful damage during their downtimes. So this could probably be a next really good thing. In addition to this, because I got asked it, how do you do one-shots with this thing? Like, there are some certain challenges when you are asked to, hey, do damage to something or kill it as quick so it can't do anything, and the most time people will finish this challenge is with Kinetic, and it works like you are taking the artifact. It is called Assassin's Blade. It will deal massive extra amount when you are having an enemy that is higher than 90% HP. It's basically like the normal effects give you 35%, and this is like 4 times the amount. Which of course sums up with other stuff, but it's a really great buff. I will now show you how it would normally look if you would try to one-shot it with this. It would be like you are putting down your hammer, you get buffs, and you start your boom, boom, boom. And normally, at the first spear, it's either dead or it dies to the second one. So this is what the normal stuff looks like. So you could say this was one bursting time. This is 200, nearly 300, 300k damage. Million damage, not k. We'll just make sure that I can use this weapon. I'm still in combat. Why? Oh, no, okay. You have never seen this. It never happened. Well, at least it directly procs my weapon, so good. Okay. Now, how does that look if we change for this artifact? If we change for this artifact, we have front-loaded damage as long as he is higher than 90%. And if you are doing it like it was suggested by me, and not like an idiot, like I wasted my damage instead, but if you're going like this, it would be still going, putting down hammer, this, boom, 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 boom. Let's check out the damage. Comparable. You have okay, so if you go into video back, you can see I had 300 million, and this is like 500 million. And it wasn't perfect because I didn't have my stone spear prepared from another mob before. but I think you can see the idea behind it. So this is how you could use it for one-shots. Just an addition. Good. I think this covers stuff on semi-meta bursting on the Kinetic, and well, I hope it was helpful for you, and have a nice day.